It's way too damn early for this crap. It's 2:43 in the morning Pacific Coast time. It's the 18th of March. Actually, it's the 19th of March, 2024. My God, I need to get my glasses cleaned off. Weaver, John C. Roseman, California. What was the talk about Colorado? They got special elections going on, plus a primary happening at this point, and they're having conniption fits on how to deal with this thing. And now we got the independents having a field day over this damn crap. Ken Buck of Colorado decided, okay, this last week he's taking a permanent vacation. He's out. He's history. That's a special election they need to do for a few months. They keep this guy in office until the primary kicks in, and then everything else will be up to speed. But then again, you've got other candidates trying to get out to Ken Buck's job. And then Lauren Boebert, a couple of months back, or within about a month or two, I think, in that time period, decided her constituents in that place she was at didn't want her anymore. But she saw an opening in the next door of a district, so she decided to move her family over there, and they don't want her. So now she's getting that screwed over for Colorado. So naturally, the independents out there have to go. Let's talk about the confusion that Colorado's got. I'm like, give me a fucking break. Colorado's already had a problem concerning about keeping Trump off the damn thing, and there's a federal versus state situation on that one. There was no way in hell Colorado was going to keep federal Trump off the ballot. This was concerning about the federal election, not the state. If it was regarding the state election, that's another thing. But we're talking about a federal representative here. We're talking about the executive power. We're talking about the Oval Office. Yeah, that's going to be, you know, they have to put that one on the ballot. Supreme Court decided, and they're not getting involved in this situation, but they're trying to make that distinction. The election that's coming up for the general election for everybody is supposed to be picking out who's going to be the president and who's not going to be the president. That's federal level. That's the Supreme Court of the United States and the district court level. Ah, there's my dog. Wondering how come I'm up this early again. What's going on, all shaky bones? Yeah, we're back at you. So they can't keep Trump off the damn ballot. But they argue, well, what about the state ballot? Well, the state ballot is your job, your responsibility. Each state's got to deal with its own shit here. You mean I can keep Trump off the state ballot? No. If you got this other Joe Schmo over here that you got an issue with, that's within the state borders of the jobs over there. That's a different thing altogether. Meaning, if you're trying to keep Joe Schmo from getting a state job, say he wants the governorship, but you have Trump who's going for the federal. SCOTUS says you can't touch Trump, but you can touch Joe Schmo at this point. That's the clarification right there. Okay, so now we got that established here. So now we got federal representatives called representatives of the Congress, House of Representatives, and you got U.S. senators. Ken Buck was he? Hold on, let's check this guy out again. So Ken Buck, what do we got? Okay, Ken Buck is a former U.S. representative from Colorado. He quit, walked away. He's not taking it anymore. It says that's it. I'm out of here. Screw the people of Colorado at this point. I can't deal with Congress. They put me over here to do my job. I can't do my job. They're all. It's like It's worse than a multi-ring circus in this place. I can't deal with this. Find yourself another representative, Colorado. I betrayed you. So basically, he stabbed him in the back, left and right. He's going to collect whatever money he can and retire and probably go into the private sector and just laugh his ass off at this point over here. So that's one special election they got to run. The other one's concerning about Boebert moving from district to district because she's trying to take over a vacant spot that happened again. There was another vacant spot in Colorado, well before Ken Buck, I think. So now we got that situation happening. So probably Colorado's having a conniption fit of, and they haven't even had the primary yet. I don't know when their primary is. Let me find out about that one. Okay, hang on. Okay. Is Colorado primary. Okay, so June's supposed to be the primary for Colorado. So now they got these special elections happening at this point. What is going to happen for these guys? Good question. So, according to what one particular source said, Coloradans will have to vote in the 5 House districts currently held by Democrats. Neither of Colorado's 2 U.S. Senate seats are up for election. However, we've got District 1, and that's for Democrats. I want to see what the hell else we got going on in there. Oh, they do. Okay, so in June they've got that crap going on. No, I don't want that one. What I want to know. Okay, Colorado Tuesday. What was this dated? March 6th. Okay, so they already had their primary. They already had their primary on this one. They had a presidential primary on Tuesday. They couldn't keep Trump off the damn office. So that was a federal situation. Now they got this. Now they got their representatives coming up. And they got multiple. They've got. They've got at least several districts up for it. They got several districts that are open up for it. This is going to be messy because now, is there going to be any confusion about who's going to be voting for what during this time? Apparently, some of the Colorados don't know who the hell they're going to be voting for or how they're going to be voting for this one. Because in some of the elections that they've got, that we've already had walkouts, those are going to be special elections to hold the office for temporarily until another election cycle comes up where they're going to be holding up that particular job and thing for the permanent for 2 years after that. It's not two and change. This is about one election for the standard 2, but prior to that, you got the time remaining. In our situation here in California for the Senate and representative, you all know that Dianne Feinstein was one of our senators out here in California. That job is open. That job is open season. We got 4 candidates out there. But we also had our own primary that had 4 candidates for that job. It's open season at that point. Either Democrat, you can also vote Republican or Independent if you need to. But we had 3 Democrats and one Republican for it. But in that instance, we still needed to have somebody in office. So either we have a special appointment for it or we have an election for it. But we already had a primary, but we haven't had a special election. Therefore, we're going to be confused about that one as well. Isn't politics wonderful? Keeping up with the Joneses left and right, and we don't even know what the hell's going on anymore. But this is so screwed up, we just have no clue. Sometimes I think politics is a crapshoot when it comes down for democracy. We like the idea of freedom left and right, but the problem is we don't like the controls for the damn thing in the first place. We're dealing with something in our nation's history and tradition and built into the U.S. Constitution that each citizen legal citizen, that is. You're supposed to be voting for your local constituents up to the national constituents. Get these representatives in office, these senators, these presidents. But you have to be a legal resident. Here's the thing that drives people crazy at the border for the past God knows how many decades on this one here. They keep thinking illegal aliens are going to be able to vote. Now, I've been hearing for the past God knows how long. I can't even keep track of the damn how many decades we've been going through this shit. But as far as I understand, we don't allow anybody who's not legally entered into the country, or actually legally sworn into the country, as a legal resident. They can't vote if they're not legal. If they're not federally registered, if they're not state registered. You know, they even tried a long time ago to do the federal registration, but that didn't work out too well. I think they tried to do some laws about that one a long time ago, but they didn't have the federal ban because each state has its own process of electing people. Somehow, the Constitution of the United States, they didn't think about that particular point. They had the 13 colonies originally to think about, but maybe a little bit more than that because they allowed the amendment process in there. The amendment process would allow changes happening to the Constitution to broaden its powers or decrease its powers. But one of the suggestions made into there, I think about the 10th Amendment in there, was stating that you don't want whatever kind of federal powers are not mentioned in the U.S. Constitution are being as implied powers to the states, and they run it however they were under states and their uh, local communities. They run their ordinances and their laws and their rules and regulations to a point that doesn't pass the state laws, that doesn't curtail federal. But they allow certain things. Stop your chewing gum stop spitting your chewed gum on the sidewalk. That's been there for decades. I think it's been there for a longer time than that. The city ordinance can make that one. Or littering. I'm saying some less disgusting things. There's no federal law against littering. State law, maybe or maybe not. The local ordinance in your town probably says, you can't do that. I'm going to write you a ticket for that. You're violating my civil rights here. I got a right to desecrate my country as a political statement. Now you don't. We're opening up a can of worms on this one here. Okay, let's just say that the case goes all the way over to the Supreme Court. Yes, he has a legal right to dispute things. He's got a federal right to make his case against the United States of America. He has the freedom of speech. So the guy's going. But that's all he has right now for the federal. What? You mean I can't litter everywhere else I can? That's not up to me. That's up to the states. No, this is violating my civil rights. I have a right to desecrate this country any way I want. That's up to the states at this point. You can say every rotten damn thing you want to the federal court systems or to elected officials, as long as you're not threatening their lives, pal. But making a case by tossing litter all over the damn place, you think that's making a political scene? Well, yeah, I think America's trash, so I'm demonstrating against trash. Constantly, that's my federal law. But you did it in public parks. Well, that's public. You didn't do it in the government places. Well, no, I just trashed a school. That's a bad idea. And then went over to someone's house and trashed them. That's my federal right to do that, isn't it? No. Why not? It's private citizens. So what? I got a federal law on my side. No, you don't. What do you mean? Okay, here it goes. Now, granted, folks, I am not a legal scholar, but I've learned a few things here and there, left or right. So I am not 100% legal expert, all right? But what I understand concerned about civil ordinances next to the federal case. Say, for example, This is private domain. Well, this is private domain. I have signed a contract in this place to keep it maintained as best as I can and clean it up the best I can, or clean it up, period. But if I don't do that, I am breaking a contract, a civil contract. Now let's put something else in mind on this one. I go outside and I'm going to thrash this place. Well, it's still civil at this point, but I still think it's against my constitutional rights of I'm protesting the government by desecrating a private property. That doesn't work. Why not? Because it's private property versus federal or state or representative of the government. That's how the First Amendment works. So basically, if I'm going to... okay, here we go. Snot rags. I have no bag. This is my apartment. I consider it my domain because I'm making rent. I've already signed a contract with a private company at this point over here, and I have to be bound by its rules and regulations. Because if I don't, I'm going to get my ass sued civilly at this point over here. I'm going to get tossed out of my ear, and other things will happen to my record at this point. This is not a representative of any government program. This is civil. So if I'm going to be insulting the place here, I am going to, for example, I am going to protest the company that owns this particular property and management at this point, and I'm going to say, okay, that's it. What do you want me to do? I just tossed this on the floor. What do you want me to do about it? I'm going to keep this on the floor until they come in. And if they come in and see these pieces of things on here, and they know about those things and pieces because it's already on here, then we got a problem then, don't we? If I refuse to pick up the garbage off the floor, if I refuse to do this, they have a legal right of getting my ass on this one. Of course, they could do another inspection in this place. That is their right. And under state law, I have to comply. But if I do this as a federal or a judgment against a government agency, and I'm thinking I'm doing this in my house, and this is legal, what do I got another thing coming? I don't rent. I rent. I don't own. Which means if I own, I can decorate the place any way I want to a point. But I rent, so I have to keep things manageable. Okay, getting back to the two pieces of trash. Are they or are they not on the floor? You saw me toss them at the screen. On my laptop. On my laptop. But it could have been misconstrued as I'm throwing it on the floor and I'm going to leave it on there. Henceforth, I'm going to be picking up so much static clean. It's not even funny out of this damn thing. Alright. Head to discharge. Taking care so I don't have any static electricity. Alright? Alright. So we have that taken care of. I'll just have to find a place to put this damn thing anyway. Temporarily. Catching the drift? Now, let's just say, this is federal property. This is federal property. Hypothetically. This place is owned by the federal government, or actually the state government, or by the county. County of Kern, state of California, United States of America. I'm making fresh for my nose right now. Give me a second here. Well, I wasn't to bust out your eardrums, that's for sure. So, here we are. This is a hypothetical again. This is the federal property. And let's just say if I want to make a statement about how I feel about the government system that I'm going to be demonstrating against. Let's just say I think they are trash. Therefore, if this is the federal government property or state government or county facility, and I want to make something about it, there are rules and regulations that I can say or do. Freedom of speech is not absolute. We don't have absolute. We have conditions. We have rules and regulations. We have laws in the books for both federal and state regarding our freedom of speech. We have the freedom, but it's not absolute. But in a demonstration concerning about how I feel about a government system here that I find oppressive one way or another, hypothetically speaking, then I am going to do something on camera. If this is the federal government, or the state, or the county, even the local community, if this is owned by that, then I am making a mess on the floor. So now I have just discharged my snot rags all over the floor. And I will inform the hypothetical landlord, which would have been the government system owning the place. And I will tell them to stick it. What I'm looking for right now is making sure all damn things are together. If not, I don't know where everything else went. So now I gotta clean this mess up. Realistically. Okay. So to keep this place neat somewhat, this is without glasses, by the way. On record, this is a private place, and I have to keep it somewhat looking. Okay. Catch your drift? This is what we deal with. We deal with federal, we deal with state, we deal with local, we deal with the government system. We have the freedom, we have to a point of what we can and can't do concerning about our pleasure or displeasure about the government system. Or whatever thing that they're doing that we find objectionable. But also in the essence of that situation, keep that in mind. Because now we are dealing with people who want us to go into federal documents to find out whether or not this material is both personal and not. A hypothetical situation created by Judge Cannon, who wants to rule in judges in Trump's favor by doing this ridiculous bullshit. Welcome to Politics 101, I guess. I guess it's elevated to Politics 101 plus 1, where insanity is a state of everything. So now we got this happening. I had said in my other videos that I blame the voters because I think they're too damn dumb to know what the hell is going on. And if they do know what the hell is going on, then they're not acting as much. Right now, we are just dealing with what we got to deal with. This is still a private place. This is still a place I rent out. This is still a corporate owned place. And there are rules and regulations that are posted on my wall. Reminder every single day. A reminder about the kind of condition I live in. It does not make me break into things or bust things because I have a dispute. If this was a government owned, would I have the legal right to do so? I am not a lawyer. Never been one. Never gone to law school. I'm still trying to get past community college. I'm only 58. So I am still going through what I'm going through right now as it is. But I can tell you that we need to know distinctions and we need to understand this stuff. There are a lot of things out there I don't understand and I'm still learning more. I have to be open to it. And I'm not trying to force my opinion thinking that you've got to learn this. Well, I may have to say and amend that. You need to learn this. You need to learn distinctions, what we can and can't do. You need to ask questions. You need to research what is and what isn't. We need to know what our limitations are. Are we legally expected to go past them? Can we go legally past them? Or are we set and that's it? But I guess people don't want to hear about that one, do they? Here she is.